started with production.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You made some real good points. But I'm curious about, you mentioned your script writing. Like, how hard is it to write a script? I've never written a script before. How hard is that?
It's not hard. Now, as far as the difficulty level goes, it's keeping it entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
I think can be the hard part. Like my process for writing a script is, I'm usually doing something and then I just zone out and watch a movie in my head. And then I'll do that 4 or 5 times throughout the day. And then, you know, by the time I get home, I've got, whether it's just a scene or a sequence or just a conversation or maybe it's the whole plot. I'll get home and go, all right, I've watched this in my head like 100 times already. And now I'm going to put it down on paper. And so there's a format you follow and you just plot it all out. And you're going to rewrite it 100 times before it ever sees the light of day. Mm-hmm. But you're just getting that thought out on paper. And if it's the full script, if that's the goal, if it's not just a conversation, if it's, I want this to be the story, then it could take a couple weeks. It could take a couple months. I've got a script that I've been working on for years and years and years that's just not ready yet.
Really?
Yeah, it just depends. I've heard a lot of writers talk about how difficult it is to sit down and write a script, but I mean, if you're just not feeling it, write something else.
Yeah. Now, do you start at the beginning every time?
I try to start with an outline. Every movie has a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Right.
And so if I want to write a full script, that's the goal. I got the script I'm working on right now. I thought of the whole sequence of events throughout the film. I knew how I wanted it to start. I knew who I wanted the protagonist and the antagonist to be. I knew how they were going to interact throughout the film. I knew what was going to be the big climactic sequence that was going to happen, to start off Act 3. And then I knew how I wanted it to end. And I've been sitting on this idea for several weeks, just watching these things play out and think, oh, no, that's already done in the movie. I need to come up with something else. Sometimes I'd write those little notes down. And then eventually I got to the point where it was time to actually start the writing process. And so I create an outline. Mm-hmm. And the outline is not very detailed. It's just the basic, like if I was to describe the movie to you and I was to describe the whole movie to you in just a couple minutes, that's the outline. Like this happens and then that happens and then that leads to this and then now we're at the end. And that's just to give me a goal, basically. Yeah. And so when I'm writing that script, I might start with the beginning, but I might be more excited about that climactic sequence. Mm-hmm. And so I'll just go to that and I'll just write that part. And then when I come back and sit down at the computer and go, all right, I need to work on this. I might work on the scene that led to that. I might lead to the scene that led to, or I may have been thinking all day about that opening sequence that I haven't written down yet. And so I'll write that first. And so I just use that outline as a direction for myself. So I know where to go, and it'll change. I mean, sometimes the ending, I'll come up with something completely different and just delete whatever's there. And now I've got a brand new ending. So I don't use it and go, I have to follow this.
Right.
Right. But I use that as a direction so I can keep it all together.
Yeah. Sometimes you write from the inside out.
Sometimes, sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never write backwards to forwards. Mm-hmm. I've heard people say that they do that because the ending's the most important. So that's where they start. But when I do that, my endings always change because I've figured out how to allow the characters to tell the story.
Yeah.
And so sometimes that ending that I wanted, the characters have completely changed who they become, and the ending doesn't even work anymore.
Yeah.
So I like to just have that idea of where it's going to go and just naturally let the story become whatever it becomes.
That's very common in creatives too. Like it don't always end up the way that it starts out. Like even when I'm producing records,
Right.
There's phases that I go through. Like I call the first phase like the pencil phase, where like if I was an artist that drew or painted or whatever, you got to sketch it first. So
Right.
I get a sketch of what it is that I'm doing. The chords may be very simple. It may be very toned out and just the basic hitting the notes here and there and very, very basic. That's the sketch, just to give me an idea of where I'm going. How can I develop this into something that's great, you know? But it's very, very skeleton, the skeleton part of it. And just kind of make that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's important. I went to a writers meeting once, and we were trying to come up with something to write that day. And we came up with an idea. What if we wrote a script about this? And it was like, cool. What's going to happen like in that script? That's a cool idea. Where's it going to go? And the guy that was kind of running that meeting was like, I don't know. Let's figure it out. Well, we got to have an end point, at least an idea, like a goal. And that pencil point, he was not for. And it was like, I like having that sketch. Like, I don't want to sit down and draw the final product. I want to sit down and just kind of bullshit an idea out. And then as I start on the final painting, I'm going to change my lines. I may have wanted this to be yellow, but now it's going to be green. Like it may turn into Picasso. It may look like a Jordan Air, it could be whatever, it can turn into anything, but I got to have that scratch pad. If I don't have that, I'll never get anything finished.
Now, do you have like, is your scratch pad electronic or you use pen and pad, pencil and pad?
I'm solely electronic now.
Yeah. My daughter is too.
Yeah.
Yeah. She loves it, man.
I'm telling you, dude.
Yeah, it's like that for real?
It's like that for real.
He wears a little glove and shit. You got the glove and shit?
Oh, I don't do a glove.
Yeah, she has the glove and
she's watching too much Michael Jackson.
Her shit is crazy.
Wow.
But she has a little drawing pad and the stuff she's into that anime.
Yeah.
So that stuff looks really good. It does. You know my daughter.
Yep.
If you saw her work, you never think it came from her. Let's just say that.
She's an Anderson. I wouldn't be surprised at all. I've never met an untalented Anderson from Columbia. I may not have liked all of them.
Right.
But they've all been talented.
Very good. Very good. But yeah, she does a great job. But I'm shocked that you have a pad. I don't think we ever discussed that.
Oh, yeah, man. It's so, because everything is electronic now.
Yeah.
Everything is electronic. And like last week I was talking about my buddy that during COVID finally started designing shirts.
Yeah.
And so we would go over there, or I'd go over to his house and we'd sit down and start brainstorming some shirt ideas. And I was trying to teach him the like how it works on the computer, because you have to have a certain type of image and resolution and all that stuff to get a good quality print. Mm-hmm. And so I'm over here like drawing on my iPad to show him, you take the sketch and then you put it on the computer and you do this and that. And he didn't have an iPad at the time, so he pulled out pencil and paper and started drawing. And I was like, I remember those days. Treasure this, because you'll never do it again.
I still use rhyme books, man. I still do.
Yeah.
I can't.
Seinfeld still writes on yellow paper.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
just
can't do that.
it.
Type it in my phone.
No, I can't. No. I can't. I got, by the fact, I got some comic books around this joint.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got one right here. Well, I can't reach it, but it's literally within arm's reach.
Oh, yeah.
The comic book is right there. So it's like, yeah.
Everybody has a method, you know, and you stick to that method.
Mm-hmm.
You know. I'm a little bit younger than you, but not too much. I started.